Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. 5.
We are here at Reggae Sun Ska. It's Sunday, the last day, but we are still celebrating 20 years of Reggae Sun Ska live on the Web TV. And I'm so pleased to be joined by Peter Harper at Web TV. Thank you very much for joining us.
C'est mon plaisir. Bonjour France et bonjour à toi aussi.
Oh, merci, bonjour.
C'est mon plaisir.
First of all, I want to, this is a bit of an introduction to you and your music, to this French audience here at Reggae Sun Ska. I want to go take it back. I was reading your bio. You described growing up around your grandparents owning a folk music centre. What was that? Was it a shop, or was it a place where people would learn music? Could you describe what it was?
Yes.
Donc juste pour faire une petite introduction, j'ai donc pu comprendre que tu as grandi dans un magasin ou le Folk Music Center. C'était le magasin de tes grands-parents. Est-ce que tu peux nous dire un petit peu de quoi il s'agissait? Est-ce que c'était un magasin? Enfin, qu'est-ce que c'était ce lieu pour toi?
It was a music store with acoustic instruments that were from all around the world. So everything that you can imagine from every country on the planet that was played acoustically, not electric instruments and not band brass instruments, was at that store. And I literally grew up surrounded, and it was a huge, it still is, it's an enormous space filled with instruments from around the world. It's a beautiful spot.
Donc il s'agit d'un magasin d'instruments de musique acoustiques, tout ce qui est acoustique en vérité, et c'est vraiment un lieu immense dans tous les sens du terme, dans lequel j'ai grandi. J'ai eu la chance de grandir entouré d'instruments du monde entier.
Are you able to get your own guitar from there? Is that the deal?
Est-ce que tu as propre guitare
Just take your pick.
de ce magasin de musique?
Exactement. Oui, yeah, that's
Choisis
exactly.
lequel tu veux.
Sweet.
Oui, c'est un peu ça.
Yeah, this is a tenor guitar built by a company called Bacon and Day, which is an old banjo company which has since gone out of business. But they made this guitar. I haven't seen another one. I don't know if there's another one that exists. And it was built in 1935, so it's a really old instrument. And my grandfather had collected this years back, and it was really beat up, and I had to fix it and get it all back to its original form in order to get it out on the road and start playing it again.
Donc il s'agit d'une guitare ténor, on appelle ça, avec 4 cordes, de la marque Bacon and Day. Et en vérité, donc c'est une guitare qui date de 1936 que mon grand-père a trouvée, et c'est moi qui l'ai réparée moi-même et qui l'ai fait revenir à jour.
It's a beautiful guitar, and I'm ashamed to say that I've only just noticed it's got 4 strings.
Yes. It's called a tenor guitar.
So it's a tenor guitar.
Tenor guitar is the first 4 strings of a regular guitar, and it was built because in the 30s to 40s there was a transition from the banjo to the guitar, because people were allowed to, now at this point there's amplification, so guitars could be plugged in and amplified at concerts, and so nobody wanted the banjo anymore. It was loud, it was obnoxious, they wanted that softer tone, that warmer tone that the guitar provided, but all those banjo players were out of work. They couldn't get any gigs. And so the banjo companies and the guitar companies started making guitars specifically for banjo players.
Donc c'était une transition assez intéressante. En fait, dans les années 1930, tous les joueurs de banjo se sont retrouvés sans travail parce que les banjos n'étaient plus aussi populaires avec l'arrivée de la guitare électrique, l'amplification. Et donc c'est une société qui a créé cette guitare ténor pour faire cette transition, pour que les joueurs de banjo puissent continuer à jouer leur musique. Donc c'est donc un corps de guitare avec un manche de banjo, donc 4 cordes.
That to me is absolutely fascinating. I want to continue this conversation about the guitar, but I have to move a bit on.
Yes.
Maybe afterwards we can continue.
Yes,
that.
exactly.
I want to talk about your sculpting. You had a sculpting career. I want to know what materials you worked with. What sort of...
I primarily sculpt in bronze. The original piece will be wax. I'll make a mold of that wax, and then I'll do what's called the lost wax casting, and it dates back thousands of years, and it's just a really magical process. Sculpting is still a big passion of mine. I still do, but playing music has taken up a huge chunk of my life and time.
Donc là, on parle de la seconde passion de Peter, qui est la sculpture. Donc on lui demande de quoi il s'agit, de quelle matière il s'agit. Donc c'est de la sculpture en bronze, avec une méthode que je ne pourrais pas vous expliquer techniquement, mais avec de la cire. Et ça reste encore une passion aujourd'hui de Peter. C'est vraiment quelque chose qu'il adore faire et qui est en parallèle avec la musique.
Your approach to music, is it quite similar to your approach with sculpting? I know that some musicians often hear the song in their head before they actually write it. Is that what you had maybe with sculpting and with music similarly, like you visualize before actually doing? What similarities can you speak of?
Est-ce qu'on pourrait faire un parallèle justement entre la musique et la sculpture? Quand on écrit une chanson, souvent on l'imagine d'abord avant de l'écrire. Est-ce qu'avec la sculpture, c'est la même chose? On imagine sa forme avant de commencer le travail?
That's an excellent question. Thank you. It's well thought through. It's a great question. This is a little bit complicated to explain, but when I write a song, I'm literally sculpting airwaves. I'm sculpting sound. So whereas with bronze sculpture, you put your hands on material and you shape that material, it's very tangible. With music, it's the same thing, but instead of using your hands to create the form, I use the tone of my voice and the bend of the string, the resonance from the string to shape the air around you. That air pushes into your ear and resonates into your brain. And so it's the same thing, it's sculpture, but the form of sculpture, the tools, the technique is slightly different than taking a ball of clay, for example, and forming it.
Donc oui, il y a un réel parallèle. Pour moi, on va dire que la seule différence entre la sculpture et la musique, c'est le côté tangible et palpable de la sculpture, parce que pour moi la musique, je la sculpte aussi, c'est quelque chose qui prend la forme d'onde et qui rentre par votre oreille dans votre tête et qui résonne dans votre tête, et pour moi oui, c'est très similaire les deux, il y a juste ce côté palpable qui est différent.
Bonne question.
Bonne question, c'était très intéressant comme question.
Can we talk a bit about your album Break the Cycle, the inspiration behind it, maybe where you were when you were recording it, and perhaps even what you were listening to at the time, just your journey of recording that album?
Est-ce qu'on peut juste parler de l'album Break the Cycle, juste pour savoir à peu près où tu étais pendant cette période d'écriture, qu'est-ce que tu faisais à ce moment-là, qu'est-ce qui t'a inspiré?
Yeah, I mean the title track of the album, "Break the Cycle," was written. It was inspired by the events at Bataclan when there was the terrorist attack in Paris. It reminded me so much of the attack on 9/11 in America that I made this realization that if we continue to confront our problems of the world with violence, it will only beget more violence, and that moment of acknowledgement, knowing that the response to that terrorist attack was dropping bombs, and dropping bombs attacked some other person's home and life and family, and that inspired other people from where they are and where they live to come here and do this all over again. And we can just keep playing tennis and hitting that ball back and forth, or somebody can put down the racket. That moment of comprehending that one of us has to break the cycle, and that was the inspiration for the title track of that album.
Donc l'inspiration de ce titre, en tout cas de ce single, avant d'être le choix du titre de l'album, c'est avant tout la suite des événements au Bataclan à Paris. Ces attaques terroristes m'ont rappelé le 11 septembre 2001 à New York, et ça m'a fait penser finalement que toute violence inspire d'autres violences, et que c'est un petit peu comme un match de tennis, et que finalement entre ce ping-pong qui se fait et qui relaie sans cesse la violence, il faut que quelqu'un arrive pour couper, pour briser ce cycle, et c'est ça qui est important, que quelqu'un arrive et décide de couper cette violence et de répondre avec autre chose.
But the album in general isn't entirely politically based. It's an album about love, because I feel like without love, nobody's breaking any cycle of any kind.
Donc c'est un album qui s'agit surtout du sujet de l'amour, parce que à mon sens l'amour c'est l'arme fatale pour contrer la violence.
That's very such an amazing message to hold, and so poignant, I think, in this day and age, that we need something that we definitely need to hear.
C'est un message fort pour aujourd'hui.
We're living in a time where we've seemed to have forgotten to care for one another. I'm living in the United States of America with a president who literally doesn't care for so many people.
On vit dans une époque vraiment où on est entouré de gens qui manquent de ce soin de l'autre, de cette attention envers l'autre. Regardez, aujourd'hui, on a ce président des États-Unis qui n'a littéralement aucun souci de l'autre.
I mean, I remember at one point, Kanye West said, George Bush hates black people. And it was a big deal. But,
je me rappelle un jour, il y avait Kanye West qui avait dit que George Bush avait dit qu'il détestait les Noirs.
But Donald Trump just hates people.
Mais Donald Trump, finalement, il déteste pas juste les Noirs, il déteste tout le monde, je pense.
And it's hard. It's tough to have to live in that world.
C'est difficile de vivre ce genre de choses.
With that kind of hate, with that kind of message being spread around the world, and people echoing it, picking it up, embracing it, using it to inspire their own hatred and their own violence.
Avec toute cette haine qui circule et qui s'alimente finalement.
I feel like it's important for at least one person who cares to step forward and say, please, stop, enough is enough.
Je pense que c'est primordial que au moins une personne se lève et dise, stop, on arrête là.
But
maintenant,
everybody else, feel free to join me.
C'est le temps de l'amour, mais
the
tout le
more
monde est
the
le
merrier.
bienvenu.
And I mean, on that sort of similar note, obviously you were in a studio writing this and in the States, I imagine, but now you're on the road and sharing your message and sharing your music with people. How has it been received, and what is it like for you to be in the open air and sharing your music and seeing the response?
C'est comment pour toi aujourd'hui de partager ce message avec ton public en tournée? C'est une chose de l'écrire et de l'enregistrer, mais de le partager sur scène, ça donne quoi?
The best part of this entire experience has been all the incredible people that have come out and not just heard the message, but they've felt it.
Ce qui est le plus incroyable finalement, c'est les gens qui n'ont pas seulement entendu le message, mais qui l'ont ressenti.
I mean, because I get up on stage and I take every ounce of love that I have inside me, I gather it up right before the show, and I get out on stage and just give it to everybody, everything I've got.
Moi, quand je monte sur scène, je monte sur scène avec chaque petite once d'amour que j'ai, et mon défi, c'est de donner chaque petit bout d'amour que j'ai en moi et de le donner aux gens.
Right, and so that's, and that only happens when somebody cares, but the best part is that everybody who comes to the show to listen walks away feeling that love. They take that piece with them, and they can choose. It's like a seed, right?
C'est un petit peu comme une graine que j'essaye de planter, et c'est vrai que les gens repartent avec cette graine et ils peuvent choisir.
And so people take a seed, and you have options with seeds. You can plant the seed, and it can grow into something beautiful.
Donc les différentes options avec une graine, c'est quoi? C'est premièrement, on peut le planter et le voir pousser.
But it takes time and patience.
Mais ça prend du temps et de la patience.
You can eat the seed.
On peut manger la graine.
And in that moment, it gives you sustenance for that moment.
Et puis sur le court terme, ça vous donne de l'énergie sur le moment.
Or you can just leave it behind
Ou
because
tu peux
you
le
feel like
laisser.
you don't need it.
Et puis parce que tu n'en as pas besoin de cette graine.
People get to choose, but I've noticed that at the shows, people really they take that in, they embrace it, and it's been beautiful.
J'ai
Really
remarqué au
incredible.
concert que les gens vraiment ont tendance à prendre cette graine avec eux, et c'est ça qui est beau pour moi.
Well, you are going to be playing for us later, and I'm sure you need to warm up. So I think you should warm up here. I think really it's.
Je pense que pour t'échauffer, tu devrais commencer ici et maintenant.
That's a great idea.
And I think just to really play us out, I want to thank you first of all for joining us here at the Web TV, Peter Harper, everyone.
Oh, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. Pick you up when you're feeling down. I dance around like like a silly clown, and just to see you smile, and just to see you smile, and just to see you smile, and just to see you smile. Something's gone from your heart, and I don't know where to start. Just to see you smile, just to see you smile, just to see you smile, just to see you smile. But I can see in your eyes that the love sometimes dies, but not when you smile, not when you smile, not when you smile, not when you smile. So darling, please smile for me. 'Cause when you smile, the world feels right.
Thank you so much. Peter Harper, everyone.
Such a pleasure. Thank you. Thanks. Such a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.